Okay, first up today we have the Nikon FM. I love this camera. This is an all mechanical shutter and a very, very simple camera. There's a circle plus and minus inside the center viewfinder for exposure. You open the aperture or close the aperture or change the shutter speed until the zero is lit, the circle, and you can tell if you're overexposed or underexposed by the plus or minus. It's that simple. Beautiful camera as far as build quality, not super expensive or very hard to find. It's got a cool little collar here. This on and off switch will prevent you from taking accidental exposures inside your bag. It's got a double exposure button right here that allows you to shoot a frame and then wind it without actually cocking the shutter. Actually, it cocks the shutter, it doesn't advance the film. And so you can double expose. Nowadays, if you're going to do any scanning and processing, you probably don't even need that. But it's a cool feature to have. This little lever opens up the back, so you can pop the back open. Pretty simple setup. The ISO speed dial is set right here. And speeds from 1 to 1,000, plus B for bulb. If you buy one of these, check the shutters. A half a second should sound different than a 125, then a 500, then an eighth. So I hear a difference. I think the shutters are working. I see the counters working, that's a good thing. Looking on the front, it's got a self-timer, and it's got a depth of field preview button so that when you have a lens mounted, you can actually shut down the aperture while you have the lens mounted and see through the viewfinder what the approximate depth of field will look like. If you take off the lens, all lenses from Nikon take off by rotating them clockwise and then get placed back on by turning them counterclockwise. Most cameras do them the opposite way, so remember that when you're looking at Nikon used cameras. The mirror box looks really clean. There's no marks in it. There's no any sticky foam or any debris sitting on the mirror. I can see that the mirror is flipping up okay. That all looks proper. You can see that. Looking inside of it, again, the camera's pretty basic. Looks really clean inside. The shutter blades look fine. There's the model number and the serial number if you're looking for it, Nikon FM. This one has a little bit of a catch problem. Some of the older Nikons I've noticed have this, where you have to kind of play with it to get it to close. If you catch this and you don't check it before you buy it, this is a negotiation point. See, it doesn't want to close by itself real easily. That should just snap closed. So I remember this one. I just have to kind of like push it a little bit. Give me a second. It's got a little catch that's not quite catching. So that's the kind of thing, it's like, you know, you can get a repairman to fix it, but you're going to have to pay for it. I'm pulling up on the little release tab. This one needs a little more work than some because that's still not latching. So there's the kind of thing, you buy this and you don't open it and you take it home, you find out that it's not latching well. Now there's the little latch right there that we have to make work with this little tab right there. And it should just press. Like I said, I remember this camera when I picked it up. I picked this up at Goodwill and it will close. There it goes. So again, that's fighting it. You shouldn't have to do that, but I think it was $15 or something. And how do you not buy a used Nikon FM for $15 at the Goodwill? Especially with this Boss strap with the little film holders right inside built in, you know. On the bottom it has a place for the battery, place for the motor drive contacts, so you can put a motor drive on it and you can advance it really fast. I think it The MD12 advances at 3.2 frames per second. At the newspaper I worked at, I always had it on there. It lived on the camera. But nowadays, I never carry a camera with a motor drive because I'm not in that big of a hurry to shoot so much. I'm looking to shoot slower and less frames, so that's not much of an issue. But yeah, back in the newspaper days, I was always had it with a motor drive. It was a nice handheld, quality build inside my hand. I could tell it was quality. So a little bit dusty in here. I probably blow a little bit of dust out of here. The lens, everything seems to be working as far as the apertures. If you look inside the viewfinder, you should be able to see that. Aperture closing. It's got such a nice advanced lever that's like real soft and gentle. It doesn't feel like you're raking film across. It's real smooth. I like that about these. Sometimes you'll find them without this piece. This piece unscrews and it'll be missing. If it is, it's still completely usable, but it's nicer when it's on there. It feels like it's protecting that inner viewfinder. But sometimes you'll find it without that. If you don't see it on there and you're, again, trying to negotiate price, you could make mention that it's supposed to have a little viewfinder eyepiece, and you might be able to negotiate it down a little bit. Anyway, that's the Nikon FM, highly recommended. Like I said, I made a major career out of newspaper photography in the film days from 1988 through 2001 using a Nikon FM or an FM2. Highly recommended. If you like it, pick one up, get a good deal. If I saw one for $50, $75, it's still a good deal. The FM or the FM2. Test it out, check that the meter's working, check that the advance is clean and easy and that the shutters are all working, and post some pictures. Let me see some in the comments below. And if you have any questions, please post them too. I'll answer them, and I'll have more videos, so hit the subscribe button. We'll get more videos all the time up on the site. All right, thanks for watching. See you next time.